Hey there, my sweet friends. Welcome back. It's day 11 of our 12 Days of Christmas in July series. If you're just joining in, you can check the top of the description for links for the first 10 days so you can get caught up. Don't forget to listen throughout the video for the question of the day. We're going to be creating this super fun and super sweet gift/treat box today. This is very simple to make, and it is so nice to personalize something if you're giving away a handmade gift or something small. And this could become reusable year after year. And so we have all of these fun and festive layers, and you see how there is room on the inside. We have an insert included, and you could put all of those goodies in here and then present this, and it will be such a sweet gift. So if that sounds good to you, then stick around and we will make it together. So we've got this Season's Greeting collection here from Echo Park, and it is a really fun mix of very retro inspired images. They are also including very traditional colors, but also mixing in more fun and whimsical ones. So I'm picking something a little bit non-traditional today, and I think this Cardabella is a lovely retro inspired collection to work with because those papers are real thick and they're going to give you lots of sturdiness to your project. So the first thing we want to do when creating this gable box is to create the insert that will hold all the things that you want to put inside. So this is just a scrap of paper. We're going to use red for our finished project. It's just a little bit easier to see this on camera. So it's cut to be 3 high by 8 wide, and I'm going to use 65-pound weight cardstock, or thicker the better would be good. And I'm going to come in and score at 1 inch for every turn. So the depth of my box will be 1 inch. If you want to make it deeper, you can just adjust your measurements. I'm going to come back in and cut from the outside in up into where those score lines intersect. You would take your time and do a more careful job than I am. And fold that up. And I'm going to adhere these flaps together. For my finished box, I will also be utilizing my 2 glues, but just for demonstration, show you that once you fold that in, you're going to have this one flap left. And attach that as well. So I would take my time and reinforce that score line with that tool, and then I would do the same thing for this side, and then you're going to wind up with this, and you can see that it is a great place to include those little gifts or treats that you want to add. So essentially we're going to be having a back section and a front section, and that is because even if this were a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock, it would not be enough to wrap all the way around. So we're going to have to join them at some point. And so the back side is going to measure 7 high by 6 wide. And then I scored it at 6. So this is going to give me a 1 inch flap at the top where we can close this up once we have our treats in. And I'm going to finish this inside and out, not only because I think it looks nice, but it will give extra layers of sturdiness. So my pattern paper here is going to be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. So I'm going to allow a little bit of extra border than what I normally would, because with all of these score lines, we are going to get a little bit of a difference in our measurements, and this is easier to center than having a very narrow border. So this is going to be our back piece, and I want to cover that on the back as well. So this is the same measurement. You can see I'm using my 2 glue combo throughout. Plunk that right in there. Gonna get that nice wide border. And I also want to inset another pattern just for interest. And so I have my cardstock cut to be 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, and the pattern paper is 4 1/2 by 4 1/2. And this is just going to go right in the middle again. I'm going to set this aside and work on the front piece. For the front section, I have mine cut to be 8 high by 6 wide. And I want to come in and attach the base of our little box here before I do anything else so that it's easier to get everything centered. And so I have put my double-sided tape along the bottom here. And then I do want to add my combo of glues. And I'm going to place this so that my corners meet up. And then it's all the way over along the edge. You can press that down to get a good contact, and the double-sided tape will hold it in place while the glue sets up. Well, I'll bring my scoreboard back in and line that up with one of the grooves on the scoreboard so that the full groove will be showing. And then run your score tool along that edge. And this is just going to give you a nice crisp crease. And go ahead and fold on that score line to establish that fold. So now, like on the back, I do want to finish the front. And I have that fun plaid here. And then I'll open that back up and we'll start to work on the front cover. I have this designed to be exactly the same as the back, except for that we're going to be adding some dimensional layers. This is the same measurement that we have on the back. This time we're using that foam tape to build up the dimension. Let's go ahead and add the back of this on now. So once again, I do have my double-sided tape added. I'll pull that backing off and add my combo. You see how that will open that way. Before we add all of those dimensional elements to the front cover, let's talk about what will fit in this little pocket. So first of all, any kind of handmade treat will be nice. A hot cocoa packet or coffee, a tea bag that's pre-wrapped, and a little something sweet to go along with it. You could put a little traveler notebook in here and work on it as it were a documenting December. You could use this as a gift box for really anything that will fit in here. I also really like the idea of creating winter survival kits, and so that would include some pre-wrapped tissues. You see how nicely that fits in there, or some chapsticks. We know we have to have all of these for the winter. And you could also include like a little hand sanitizer. This one is round, so it doesn't fit, but if you got one of the rectangle-y ones, that would also work in here, and then people would have some of these survival supplies that we all need in the winter. I would recommend, if you are going to utilize this for a handmade treat, and that's a good question of the day, do you make handmade treats as gifts for your friends and your family? And I would say that this paper is not rated as food safe. So you do want to wrap those items in a treat bag or something like a parchment where you could wrap that around and keep your food from getting on this paper. And that will also help if you have something that's buttery or has a high fat content like cookies. You would probably stain this paper if a cookie were in it, and it would kind of saturate into the paper. I picked this up thinking that it was food safe, but once I looked at it further, it is definitely not listed here, so I'm not going to assume that it would be fine, but you do a better job at checking than I am. But the one thing I did like about these pre-made treat bags is they often have labels, and so you could include some allergen information. If you are giving treats, you do definitely want to list possible allergy items because you just never know who's going to wind up with this treat. And speaking for our family, our grandson Jeremy did have a peanut allergy until he was able to go through oral immunotherapy. And so that was just a therapeutic process where they would give him very small doses of things he's allergic to in a very strict medical supervised area, so that if he had a reaction, they could treat it, and then they would just build up those amounts that he could ingest until now it is safe. So if we take him out, we don't have to be so concerned about an accidental exposure. So you have to think about that if you're giving away something that comes from your kitchen, just to be very safe. And you would feel so bad if you inadvertently caused harm to someone. So definitely include an allergen information. That is a lot of information about what would go on the inside. So let's go ahead and finish the outside. Why don't we? I'm going to put a little strip of that coordinating paper here along the top. This is cut to be 3/4 high by 5 3/4 wide so that we can maintain that border. This gives a little more detail and makes it more sturdy. I'm going to do the same thing for the front. I think maybe another fun thing to do if you have a new generation maybe married into your family and you want to share with them your family's treasured Christmas recipes, you could put recipe cards in here as well. That would be such a nice way to carry on your family tradition. So we've got a little doily here. This is going to help break up those busy patterns. I want to position this a little lower than center and closer to the right because I do have a flower arrangement plan for this. And so here is one of the cut apart images. I used a nested circle die to create that circle image and then gave it a border of that same cardstock so that it would look nice and layered. Now you can see why I have this lower. I want to include some of these handmade flowers that we created during our prep series. I want to just assemble this now when I know where all of those layers are going to fall, because I don't want to inadvertently cover any of those words, but I do have some greenery prepared as well. It's a couple layers of that foliage with a loopy twine bow and netting. One that goes this way as well. And so I do definitely want to continue using that hot glue to attach this. Here are those little charms, sweet little Christmas trees. Let's put that here. And then a couple of sequins here to finish off this bottom section. Put that on with my Tombow. Going to need a way to close up the top, and I've just taken some of this beautiful May Art ribbon from Really Reasonable Ribbon. I made myself a sweet little bow there and attached a jingle bell to it, And then I adhered this to a little wooden clothespin, and so I would have 2 of these to close the top up. Now, if you are giving this to anyone like a toddler or a small child, you definitely do not want to add a bell because that could become a choking hazard. So maybe if you are, you would want to just punch some holes and run some ribbon through so that you could close it up. But I think this works pretty good just to attach this at the top. And then you can close it and reopen it easily. So this is going to be it for our project today. I sure do hope that you enjoyed it and you will come back tomorrow for our final day. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.